Road rage, definitely intense. Hey, thank you for watching that. I know that's oftentimes a shocking video to see some of that aggression come out on the road. I'm sure if we were together, you guys and girls would have some really interesting stories to share with me about your experiences with road rage. Again, it's very real. So heads up. Again, I show you that video not to thrill you or shock you or any way, but just to help you make a little bit more aware. Yeah, that aggression is real and it's out there, and it's not so often you; it's the other guy or girl. Most of those people, if not all of them, were males, right? So males being aggression, males having the Y chromosome, males having testosterone and liking to drive fast. Very interesting when you get into that and study that. This is an interesting slide to examine when you have maybe a little bit more time on your own. What road rage does, what triggers it, what could we do? Leon James, the guy all the way at the bottom paragraph there, he is a very interesting guy. He's basically dedicated his life, or a big part of it, to studying road rage. So check this out when you have a little bit more time. Back to some of the psychological and cultural aspects of aggression. Remember our good friends B.F. Skinner and Bandura. Yes, we get operant conditioning. So that reinforcement of, let's say, a good act giving us a reward or a bad act giving us a punishment. And if people do something bad, they deserve a punishment. And equally so, if we see people driving with road rage, well, then maybe that's an acceptable form of driving. And it becomes out there in the lexicon. It's only been out there for about 25 years as a term, road rage. So reinforcement and modeling is very important. This is fascinating. These cultures of honor. I threw up the Confederate flag of the southern states and even the Chicago flag of certain neighborhoods in Chicago. In certain areas where the law doesn't seem to serve the general population, oftentimes people feel responsible to take the law into their own hands. And there's these cultures of honor where if you disrespect somebody's honor, then they will come after you and they will become aggressive. Again, if you live in an area where the law doesn't really serve you that well, say you're in a neighborhood where you call 911 and it takes 2 hours for the police to come up, you take the law into your own hands. And these are very real things. So again, do some research on cultures of honor. They're really fascinating. Media models, these social scripts of violence and sexual ads, really powerful in how these advertisements oftentimes speak to the general population. When you think about sex and violence in the media, both past and present, it's fascinating to look at a couple ads of the past. Here's a swimsuit ad, most likely from the late 1950s or 60s. Looks like the woman is smiling, but if you focus on the upper right hand corner of the advertisement, you can make an argument that this woman is getting dragged somewhere. And again, there's this act of aggression almost in this video. Why is it that those two hands grabbing this woman and picking her up? This equally so is a really shocking ad, to me at least, into the 1960s for coffee, where a woman is getting punished because she bought the wrong coffee. This is domestic violence. And was this an acceptable form of behavior? Enough so to put in an advertisement for coffee, right? Really interesting. Look at a modern advertisement for today, right? You can make a good argument that this ad from Dolce and Gabbana depicts a gang rape, right? It's fascinating when you look at advertisements. Yes, sex sells, but to what extent, right? And where does that lead us as a culture? Something like this movie, The Hunger Games, that many of you read or maybe watched, really interesting film, right? Well, this is a film about people killing each other for entertainment. Going back a little bit earlier to my day, Rambo, First Blood, yeah, great movie, but really violent. Equally so, a film today that some of you have probably watched. I refuse to watch this one. But yeah, really interesting about these films today and video games. There's good old Donkey Kong in the bottom left. But again, violent video games have gotten pretty explicit in recent days. And again, this cartoon is a great one. It's all the guns' fault. Well, there's entertainment as well, too. So be mindful. All this stuff adds up, right? And it's fascinating to think about.